What is up, guys? Ali here for another 3DS related video. Today we're going to talk about if it is still worth it to get a 3DS capture card. I have gotten so many questions from people about if they should get a capture card, a 3DS capture card, which one they should get, what sort of price should they be looking for, which model they should get. And I'm just here to talk about if it is still worth to get one, because for me personally, I don't think it is worth to get a 3DS capture card just for streaming anymore. Just given the situation right now, this is specifically regarding, I guess, in terms of Pokemon streaming, but if you want to stream other 3DS games, I think this can apply too. I previously made a video about the different capture card manufacturers. I don't know if I even call them manufacturers because they're just one-man operations. I just wanted to put out my thoughts out there about, is it worth to get a 3DS capture card now in 2018? I actually meant to film this video a little bit after Ultra Sun and Moon came out, but clearly it's been a few months, but I definitely still think this applies. So I'm just gonna go into some pros and cons, and then also my own thoughts and what I've also heard from other streamer friends. So definitely the pros are that not only can you use it with 3DS games, the 3DS capture card clearly, but you also can stream DS games if you're the kind of person that does not want to emulate and you want to play the actual hardware. This is a great way to do it. And also, if you're already a streamer, I think definitely getting a second 3DS capture card specifically for Pokemon definitely does make a difference. It makes things a lot more exciting, and I'm not saying you should buy one and you'll magically get, a bunch of new followers and stuff, but you will grab a little bit more attention by having two, for sure, as opposed to just one. And I think another pro for this, at least now in 2018, you might be able to get a deal on one if somebody's selling theirs used. A lot of people are trying to offload theirs. I'm getting rid of my second one because I don't even use it anymore. So I think definitely you can try to find a deal if you are not trying to spend a lot of money, but keep in mind these are very expensive in the first place. I think 3DS capture cards will always be potentially always in demand just because of the Pokemon communities. Not only that, but the speedrunning communities, if you speedrun any 3DS or DS games. But potentially for the Pokemon community, it could fall out of demand due to the Switch game coming out soon. The cons for getting a 3DS capture card now is that, Ultra Sun and Moon, Pokemon-wise, they're the last Pokemon games on the 3DS, and we're just gonna have to live with that until the Switch version drops. So that's mainly probably what you're gonna be playing, unless you decide to go back and play the older games, which is also a really good idea. But that is something to keep in mind. There won't be any new main series games coming out. And I feel like unless you're going to be using this capture card for other 3DS games outside of Pokemon or DS games or Virtual Console, I really don't think it is worth it. These things are hundreds of dollars. The cheapest you can get it for is maybe $200, $250, and the most you can spend is like over $500. So just keep that in mind. The reason for that being there's only 2 people in the world, or actually 3 technically, that make them, but there's only really Katsukity and Murky available now, and Loopy has kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. And Loopy cards are actually the most desirable since they're better quality and they hold up over time, as opposed to Katsukity, which are a bit lower quality. They get the job done, but they are more expensive. Oh, and I forgot to mention Loopy's are a little bit less expensive. And Murky's kind of in the middle. I believe he works with Loopy, but he's only an EU, so if you're an EU person, you can go through him. And honestly, I really need to mention this just because I feel like you're not going to get your money's worth if you buy one now. And I know that sounds bad, but these things are hundreds of dollars. They're not cheap, and you might not get your money's worth out of it. I'm not saying stream for the money, but you might not get your worth out of it, and if you don't want it anymore, it's going to be harder to resell for what you paid for, if that's something you want to keep in mind. I think as of right now, you should definitely buy one if you want one now, because come summer and the end of the year, we're probably, the closer we get to Pokemon Switch specifically, the less that I think it's worth it to get a 3DS capture card just for Pokemon, basically. And like I said, Katsukity's the only ones that are really available right now. So I'm going to go through some of my own thoughts and also some friends' thoughts. I did reach out to some Pokemon streamer friends. You guys know who you are. I know I asked you a really long time ago, and I'm finally making this video, but I pretty much agree with everything that they say. So these are my own thoughts mixed with what some of my other friends have said, and I think it's just, just please keep this in mind if you're trying to get a 3DS capture card. So what I always say to people is see if you like streaming first before you get a 3DS capture card, whether it's just for Pokemon or not. I will say most of the people that are probably watching this are thinking of getting a 3DS capture card for Pokemon, but with the Switch version coming up, just see if you like streaming first, because there have been so many people that spend hundreds of dollars on streaming equipment, not even 3DSs. They try streaming and then they hate it. So it's make sure you like streaming first. Because a lot of people that start out in the beginning get really, really discouraged because of low numbers or low attendance. and then they just end up quitting and selling off all their stuff. So keep that in mind. And I think the time frame is also another really important thing to look at. The closer that we get to Pokemon Switch, the less worth it is to get a 3DS capture card, I think, because the Switch is so easy to stream. You just get the Switch and then you just need a capture card, which is sold at retail. Pretty straightforward. The 3DS has to be hard modded and have a capture card installed to it, which is a lot more complicated and, you know, very expensive since not a lot of people do it. So, like I said, streaming on the Switch and other consoles is a lot easier than this. But if you're really passionate about 3DS games, I think it can be worth it. Not just specifically Pokemon. I think my big tip I would tell people is, this is what I did, is emulate the Pokemon games first. Or if you have another way of capturing them or other systems or something, do that first. Like, for example, the Game Boy player and the GameCube. Try that first to see if you even like it, and then dive in to get the 3DS capture card. But like I said, the later it is in the year, closer to Pokemon Switch, the less worth it I feel like it will get. I really only think you should get one if you want to take streaming seriously and want to take streaming these games seriously. So that's pretty much my tips on if it's worth it to get a 3DS capture card at this point in time. Personally, I don't think it's worth it, but if you're really hardcore about it, you can probably buy one used off of someone, or if you want to spend the full money to Katsukity to get one, you can also do that. But if you guys have any questions about 3DS capture cards, let me know, but those are my thoughts on that. And yeah, I stream every day on Twitch at 6 p.m. EST. And I upload videos every other day at 3 p.m. EST. So yeah, I'll see you guys around. If you have any questions, let me know. Bye!